So I get this question all the time. Is the Division 2 worth playing in 2023? Is it worth getting back into? Did I miss too much to actually dive back into the Division 2? And I'll tell you, honestly, the Division 2 is at the perfect time for anybody wanting to try out one of the best looter shooters out right now. And I say that. I don't think there's another looter shooter out there that is as good as the Division 2, especially that brings a third person looter shooter. There's not another game like it. That's why players tend to come, but they always seem to return for the new seasons or for the new content. And in year 5, we're getting a lot of that. So let's talk about it and then dive into why this is still one of the best looter shooters in 2023. So what is coming in year 5? Well, we had Division Day, and Division Day was a day that they announced a lot of things. They talked about year 5 roadmap, which is coming with 4 different seasons. Season 1 is coming with a new descent mode, which is a roguelike mode, which we've played on this channel. They're also coming with incursions. If you play Division 1, you guys remember these are like mini raids. 4 people go at it, and matchmaking is available for this mode. Then we head back to New York City for Season 3 and find out more about Aaron Keener and his rogue team. And then finally in Season 4, we get our first DLC since Warlords of New York and a revamp of Seasons 2.0. And for you new and returning players, it might feel like a lot, but we're gonna get into that, and I'll tell you why right now is one of the best. But the first thing I wanna get into is, what are all the activities that you guys can currently do in the Division 2? So there's a lot of different things to spend your time on doing, and that's what's cool about it. You can choose the way you play this game. So in the Division, there's a lot of things you guys can do. You guys can spend your time in the open world and just farm those control points, farm those activities, or even farm those resource convoys. There's a ton of different things you guys can do, and at any time you can change the difficulty in the global settings menu, where you can go from normal to hard to challenging to heroic. Now, if you guys feel like it's too easy, you can even add global directives, and those global directives obviously are going to make it a little bit more challenging. So right off the bat, if you just want to spend all your time in the open world, you guys can do that. Now, if you want a little bit more of a challenge and you feel the open world is too easy, well, you could do missions. Missions have different difficulties from normal all the way to heroic. Now, strongholds, on the other hand, you can do those at a bigger difficulty. If you look right here, you can go from heroic and then bump it up to legendary. Now, remember, every time you do go up in difficulty, you have a better chance at getting better rewards. So you're rewarded for your time and your effort. Honestly, I usually stick to heroic content most of the time. Every now and then I'll do legendary missions, but I feel that between heroic content and legendary missions, it's not that big of a difference. So after you complete all the missions, you do the strongholds. Say you have a team of 8 people and you want to go to that next level. Well, we have a thing called raids. We have Operation Dark Hours raid, and we have Operation Iron Horse raid. We have 2 raids, no matchmaking available on normal. Now, if you want to do this on discovery, there is a matchmaking available, but if you want to do this on normal and have a chance of getting the raid items that come from these raids, well, you need an 8-man team. Now, say you're not into PvE, you only did PvE because you want to fight other players. Well, that's what we have, the Dark Zone. The Dark Zone is a PvE VP area. We have 3 of them, and that means you can farm different landmarks and you have to extract your gear. There are 3 extractions in each DZ, but remember, when you extract items, it will draw the attention of other players who may come to kill you. So that is for those players who want that experience of PvE and PvP. Now, say you just want to fight players. Well, we have a game mode called Conflict. Conflict is a 4v4 mode, and this is where a lot of the people who just want to have that team-based PvP, not worry about other players or NPCs, only players are available in this mode. So that is something for you guys to keep in mind. Conflict is strictly PvP. Now, What about other modes? Well, we know that we have raids, right? We have missions. Well, yes, there is a game mode called Countdown, and Countdown is a great way to farm gear. I always recommend this for newer players, especially if you're looking for a specific gear type. Once you have a basic build, you go in here and then hopefully you can farm more. You can choose exactly what you want. So it's almost like target farming, but in one area. And well, that's called Countdown. And you can also do the same thing in Summit. Summit also has target farming. You can select exactly what you want, and then you just go through it. There are 100 floors, and at the very top, there's hunters waiting for you. So, hey, I mentioned hunters. Well, did you know that New York City and DC have hunters, and those hunters drop masks? So if you look right here, we have 12 hunter masks that you guys can get from here, and then we have 13 hunter masks from New York City. So that means there are a total of 25 different masks that drop from hunters that you guys can get that go on these walls. So now if you guys want to see guides on how to complete those, I do have videos on here, or if you want to try it yourself to figure it out, well, good luck. Also, we have a ton of exotics, and we have an exotic wall for all of our weapons. We have all of our DC weapons right here, and then we have all of the Warlords of New York, well, most of the Warlords of New York weapons right here. And you can farm out there and go farming for those exotic weapons, and that is another activity for you guys to do. Now, besides all of that, we also have seasons. So let's talk about that. So seasons is a great way for new and returning players to get back into the game, and also keep current players interested in new content, new gear, new items. Every time a new season comes out, we usually get 1 to 2 to 3 new exotics, and we usually get 1 gear set and 1 brand set, sometimes more. But what's also cool about this is there's a full free track, so you don't have to pay anything. And then there's a premium track that gives you really cool weapon skins, vanity items, and gives you more chances of getting more named items and more exotics. Also, did I mention that each season permanently unlocks previous manhunts, because the seasons are all tied to a manhunt you go after each season. Like this one, we have Manhunt Schaefer, and there are multiple manhunts you unlock, you permanently unlock. And what that allows you to do is now you can go to the open world and then replay that mission, or if it's the first time you're doing it, you can actually play the mission, as this one is Fairview Power Plant General Anderson, and there are a ton of different manhunts you can go back and do. We just have to toggle it, and then we can do Roosevelt Island Manhunt Jupiter, which allows new and returning players to never really miss out on the story, and they can build their love for the lore of the Division 2. Also tied to those seasons are apparel events. There's usually apparel events tied to those seasons. And then we can't not mention the current manhunts. If you notice here, we have Target Auntie. We've actually knocked out all 3 targets. We just have to do Auntie, and then after that, we can go after Stovepipe, who is our main manhunt. So yes, the story continues. You keep learning more about the Division 2 and more about the enemy you fight. Now, after you finish the manhunts, there's also league activities. We have the Auntie League, which allow you to gain arm patches, backpack trophies, exotics, and then we have global events. So all the seasons always have leagues, global events, the manhunts, and obviously apparel events. So a lot for you to do during the seasons. There's about 7 weeks left for this season, so if you guys are just watching this video, you guys still have a chance to actually dive back into season 11. Now, Division 2 has always been about creating builds that fit your playstyle, and along with that, they have what they call specializations. Now, the specializations allow you to play your build in different ways, from sharpshooter to gunner to technician to demolitionist to survivalist. Each one has a signature weapon that is tied to that specialization, so it even gives it a little bit more flair when you want to use those specialization on the enemy. Now, once you're done with the open world and you want to really start diving into your builds and making them better, they have a thing called the Shade Watch in the Division 2. If you notice, there are 4 sections, from offense to defense to utility to handling, and each one of these can stack 50 points into it. Some give you 10% weapon damage, 10% armor, 20% headshot damage, 10% reload speed. So they give you different things that help improve your build as a whole. As you guys see, we have a build right in front of me. Yeah, there's a lot of things you guys can create here. But along with that, we have now what's called expertise. I want to say it was the way for them to do a power cap on our build, since we did hit level 40. And expertise can go from having a weapon like this Eagle Bear that is proficient to an eagle barrel like this one that is level 20 expertise, which gives me 20% weapon damage on top of the weapon. Now, what's cool about it, if you're new, you're returning, well, expertise is very easy to level up with your shade watch, as you're going to be working at getting that watch leveled. You'll be working on your expertise, and at the same time, you'll be working on your recalibration station, where you have your recalibration library that allows you to put those max roll attributes, talents that you can later use on gear pieces that you really enjoy. Also, what the recalibration station allowed us to do was optimize gear. So not always do you get maxed out gear. As you see this piece right here, some of the pieces will come with maxed out rolls, some of them won't, but you can use items, materials to optimize it. Let me show you this chest piece. This Fenrir's chest piece I have, I was able to roll it once, right? I rolled the armor, but the crit damage, crit chance, I had to optimize it, but now I have a god roll piece. So they added this later on in the game, and this helps new returning players get right back into it once they start getting those materials. And hopefully that answered the question, is the Division 2 worth getting back into in 2023? I honestly still think it's one of the best looter shooters, and with year 5 just around the corner, with that new roguelike mode, the new incursions, the new story DLC coming later in the year, I just think this is the perfect time for you to dive into it and just take full advantage of everything this game has to offer. We're gonna wrap up the video here, guys. I appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I'll see you guys in the next one. Nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.